The question that I've been thinking about, and Leslie and Mark and I have been talking about, is how do we help you use these tools to get from a text to a sermon? So how do we, give you tools that you can actually use and explain why they're valuable and important? So I have been given the commission of sort of talking about my own preaching process in a way of how do I link up voice work, body work, exegesis, understanding my congregation, et cetera, and then come to actually preaching. And I guess I would say that, sometimes I don't use the body work. Sometimes I sit down and I scribble things in a journal and I read commentaries and then I sit down and write something. And whenever I do that, it's adequate. I can get away with it. But I know that I have not allowed the word to become flesh. It's when I go to my body that I know that I have found what I need to say. And that's what I had to do this week, because I did not know what I was going to say. I'm preaching for you all later today. I didn't know what I was going to say in that sermon. I didn't know what I was going to say to you right now. And it was only by going back to this work that I found my center and I found words that I felt were true and that I could say. And I have to keep, even moment to moment standing here, come back to what my body knows, and it doesn't come easily to me. It never has. I've always wanted to be up here in my head. So it's this constant journey from here to here for me, and I have to keep doing it over and over again or I lose it. So I bring it to you as in a way of saying, this is what I know about how the word becomes flesh. And that's why I wanted to teach it to you, because it's not the only thing that leads to authentic preaching, absolutely not, but it is the thing that I do that allows me to be present here in this room with you and have something to say that is something speaking through me. Just let your feet be a little wider than hip width distance apart, and let your arms fall by your side so you let go whatever that physical expression was, and just feel your feet on the floor, a bit wider than hip socket width apart. And starting on the right side of your body, just let your right arm float up to the heavens, up to your elbow, wrist, fingertips, and let that right knee bend and let that arm bend over your head. So what you're doing is opening up your rib cage to let the breath come in. So we're seeking oxygen and breath and spirit to inspire us and to bring us to where we need to be to preach. And then let that go. And now let a stretch flow up the other side. Let that same knee bend and let that elbow bend and let the arm come over your head. Feel how the stretch stretches out the ribs on the other side. You're looking for space for the word. And then let that go and shake that out and see if you feel any different. Maybe something starts to sort of shift a little bit. And now let your right elbow float forward into the room and let your right knee bend. And feel a stretch going from your ribs out into the space. So that same right knee bends, the other knee goes back. So you feel a pull in two directions. Feel that stretch coming from your rib cage. Again, you're looking for space. You're reaching out towards something in front of you. And then shake that out, let that go. And let the stretch flow through the other side, out to the elbow and the wrists and the fingertips. Let that same knee bend, the other knee goes back. And you're stretching out into the space from the rib cage, and then let that go. Shake that out, come up. And now feel a stretch flowing out to the side. So out into the right elbow, wrist, and fingers. Stretching out, looking out. Let that same knee bend. Feel the stretch coming from your ribs. You're opening up some space. Then let that go, and then float out over the other side. Elbow, wrist, fingers, stretching out, looking out over the arm. You're reaching. See if you can feel some space opening up, especially on the opposite side, ribs. And then shake that out, let that go. And come up. Bring your feet more under your hip sockets. And float your elbows up to shoulder height. Picture rubber bands attached from your elbow points down to your lower back ribs. Really, those strong rubber bands. And so that as you move your elbows forward, you're going to stretch across your back ribs. And then let that release. And then stretch forward, widening your back ribs. And let that release. And then picture those strong elastics going from these elbow points down to the front ribs, right? A big, strong strand here and here. And then you're going to let your elbows back. So you stretch the front of your ribs and let that go. And then again, stretch out the front of your ribs. And then wriggle your elbows up like you're opening a great big golf umbrella, which is your ribs, right? Your rib cage is opening up to let the word come in. And then let those arms drop. Let your shoulders drop. And feel maybe you've got a bit more space. So part of what we're doing is we are mere humans, but we are witnesses, and God uses us. God comes inside of us and looks for space within us in which to speak, through which to speak God's word. Okay, so now bring your feet under your hip sockets and see if you can remember what we did in June, which had to do, and Herbert already mentioned it, that feeling of being centered on your feet. So when the world is overwhelming, when everything around us is overwhelming, finding our feet on the floor. Joe was talking about this too, and remembering that we can be grounded and get strength from the ground that supports us is crucial. So remembering feet under hip sockets, it's like a line that comes from the middle of your hip joint here, down over your middle toe and down over your second toe. And feet are more or less parallel. This looks all good. And then let your arms drop by your sides and feel your weight evenly on your tripod points. So one point is on the ball of your foot behind your big toe, one point's on the ball of your foot behind your fourth toe, and one is in the middle of your heel, right? So these tripods going down into the earth that sort of root you in the earth. So try just going forward onto your toes a little bit. Feel what that feels like. Now maybe this is where you often live. You know, do you live up on your toes? Feel yourself going back onto your heels. Maybe this is where you live, back on your heels, right? Now see what it feels like to come right to the center between front and back. Really centered. How often do we really live in the center? And then what does it feel like to put more weight on the one side, right? And then more weight on the other side. And now this might be familiar, this is where I live. Weight is on one side or the other. But what does it mean to feel that you come right to the middle, to the center? So much power that comes from being in the center. And let your arms drop by your sides. And take a scan through your skeleton. I was talking to Martha a minute ago about the skeleton. So you're starting with the bones of your feet, and you're thinking then into your shins, your thighs, pelvic girdle, hip bones. The tailbone is in the middle of the hip girdle. From there, the spine builds up, one vertebra stacking up on top of another. Like blocks stacking up, goes through the small of your back, up into your rib cage, up to that big vertebra at the base of your neck. You can picture the ribs branching out from the spine and meeting in the front in the breastbone. Shoulder blades resting on top of the skeleton of the rib cage. And then the arms, the bones of the arms hanging down to gravity. And then you picture the top 7 vertebrae, those vertebrae of your neck curving up into your skull, and then the skull rests on the topmost vertebra, which is about the level of the bottom of your nose, bottom of your ears. And then you can feel how your head floats up on top of your spine, like a balloon full of air, and your body is hanging from it. Or maybe there's like a string attaching you to the ceiling. So there's this sense of the feet rooting you to the ground, and then a sense of this upgoing energy as well that goes up through your spine and up to the ceiling. So you're both rooted on the earth and in touch with the heavens. That's the the place for a preacher to be. So what this is coming into the moment and offering ourselves so that the word can come through us, so that the word can be made flesh through us. And this exercise I taught you in the summer is a way of feeling how we can arrive in this space. It's a very simple exercise. So all it is you think into your elbow points, you let them rotate forward, you let them float up effortlessly as though little balloons were attached to them, up to shoulder height. Then you think into the backs of your wrists, let them float up until your arms are straight. And then think into your fingertips and let them float up until you finally are stretching all the way up to the ceiling. You're suspended between heaven and earth. You've got some divine force pulling you up by your fingertips while at the same time your feet are planted and you're rooted. And then you just let your hands go, just your hands. And you feel how there is relaxation in your hands and tension in the rest of your body, your whole body stretching up except for your hands. Now let your forearms go till they relax from your elbows and register the contrasting sensation of relaxation and tension. This is important because being present is about feeling this core strength and also this ability to relax tension that gets in the way. Now let your arms drop to gravity and feel the pull of gravity on your arms. And that's the feeling of relaxation, which when you can be aware of it and transfer it to any parts of your body that are tensing up in the middle of preaching, that helps you to be present. Now let your head and neck drop forward and let the weight of your head draw you down through your spine, one vertebra at a time, dropping away to gravity. Like blocks on stacking, and then drop down to the floor until finally you're hanging head downward from your tailbone. Feed in a sigh to release your breath. Good, and then think into your tailbone and start to uncurl up through your spine. See if your spine alone can do this. So your belly muscle stays loose, knees are loose, head and neck are heavy. Really feeling how the spine can bring you up effortlessly with the least possible effort. You come up to standing, and finally your head and neck float up into alignment with your spine. And see if you've arrived in a different state at all. What has changed? Are you able to be a little bit more here in this room with us? Come back to a place of standing again. And what this is the first step of I am here in this room with all of you, which is that we come to presence, we come to standing, we come to being here, and we know that we are here as an offering to God, for God to do something with us, and that we're enough, that what I bring with all of my, faults and failings and gifts and everything, I just bring, and I'm here with that, and that's enough. And even with physical limitations, things that don't raise up the way we want them to, or pain, or age or vulnerability, that's all here. We're all here with that, and that's good, and that's enough. So now comes the next step, which is we feel the feet under us. Close your eyes, let your attention turn inward, and let that feeling of relaxation that was in the big external muscles, the arms and the torso, now transfer inwardly. And let that feeling of relaxation travel through your mouth, relaxing your tongue and your jaw, your throat, as though you were drinking some kind of nice warm liquid that was just sending this feeling of relaxation slowly traveling down through the inside of your body. Down through your throat, relaxing the muscles of your throat. Down into your heart, the muscles around your heart that can become sort of a wall that keep people out. Can you let those melt and dissolve, remembering your spine is holding you up? And you can feel whatever's going on around that region in your heart. Let that be there. And let your awareness travel down into your belly, relaxing the belly muscles, being aware of whatever you're feeling down there. And become aware of the breath. It drops in to a space behind your navel, and then it falls out immediately again. You can flop a hand on your belly to feel your breath. Tiny natural rhythm of the breath that goes on all the time. And if you can let your belly muscles relax, you can feel how the breath comes and goes. And it anchors us in the moment. We don't make it happen. We just let the muscles relax and let it establish itself. Let it tell us what it is. And being aware of whatever we're feeling. Feed in the impulse for a sigh, and just sigh out on whatever it is you're feeling, just on the breath. Good. So what you're doing is connecting with whatever the thoughts, feelings, impulses are within, and letting them sigh out on the breath, so the breath carries your feeling. Once again, being aware of whatever you're feeling, feed in a sigh and sigh out. And now see if you can picture down deep in the body, in your body, in the center of your body, a pool. Not a pool of water, but a pool of sound. A pool that has your voice in it. Vibrations of sound fill this pool. See if you can picture it like a deep forest pool, dark water, in the middle of the woods, and you come to it, you see it. See the water, see the sun playing on the water. This pool has everything in it that you need to say. The whole of the human condition, in a way, is in that pool. And now, staying with the rhythm of the breath, let the thought of sound drop down inside and let a bubble up from this pool. And let it be a little double bubble. So the breath drops in. You're feeling the connection to your voice. And now let your arms drop by your sides again. And take it in dialogue with me. So my sound drops into your pool, and you respond with a sound from your pool. Breath drops in. The breath connects with the sound coming up from the pool. Let it be deep, dark pool vibrations. And let your head and neck drop forward. And let yourself drop down through your spine, one vertebra at a time.
ha. Feel the sound dropping through, ha. Ha. And as you reach the bottom, feed in a sigh and let it sigh out on vibration from the pool. You're seeking a way to connect your voice with what you are feeling and need to say. Feed in the sigh and sigh it out. And now think into your tailbone and start to uncurl up through your spine. Ha. 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 Ha.
Ha. And when you reach the top, speak it. Ha. Feeling the miracle that God has given you a voice. Ha. And feed in the impulse for a sigh of whatever feeling you're feeling right now and let it sigh out on those vibrations. Good. This is the way that what's inside comes outside for preachers, is through your voice. Feed in the sigh and sigh it out again. Good. And let your eyes open and take in the room. Feed in that sigh and sigh it out again. Good. And shake it out through an arm. Vibrations coming from your pool and shivering out through your arm and out through the other arm. Good. And now they shiver out through a leg like you've got a mouth on the sole of your foot. And the other leg. And bounce it out from your knees. Good. So now you're starting, I hope, to feel how your voice comes from within and connects to something true in you and then sighs out to the room. Okay, so the next step is that voice starting to come up and out, and that's where we start to wake up the vibrations that are waiting to be awakened, so that freeing the voice is freeing yourself through your voice, more and more of you coming free through your voice. So that involves waking up all the additional vibrations that may be sleeping in your body that are ready to be woken up and poured out into your voice. So sighing up from below, now you're going to close your lips on the hum, feel the buzzing and tingling, and then open your mouth and let the vibrations go out. So it'll be like this. Ha-hum-ma. Sighing from below, onto your lips, feeling those vibrations, and then your mouth opens and all those additional vibrations pour out in your voice. So try that. Ha-hum-ma. This is you not only having a voice, but being willing to share that voice with the world, which needs to hear it. Okay, so let's do it using your hands to help your body know what you're doing. So you're drawing sound from your pool, it comes onto your lips, maybe rub those vibrations onto your face, wakening up the vibrations, and then you pick them off your lips and you send them out into the room. So here, watch me first, it'll be like this. Ha-hum-ma, and out it goes, okay? Ha-hum-ma. Good. So it's coming up and out. Now the willingness, the desire to communicate, which, you know, I know for me this week was not strong, but as the more I did this, the more I felt, no, I have somewhere down in there, I have a voice, I have something, not only that I need to say, but that I'm hoping by this openness, God is using me to speak whatever it is God wants me to say. Okay, so drawing that sound up, rubbing it onto your lips and sending it out into the room. Good. And once again, here comes the sound from below, onto your lips and out into the room. Good. And now bringing it to an even bigger area, you're going to let your head drop forward and roll your head around, gently taking care of your neck. And you're going to let your head drop forward, sigh a hum onto your lips, and then roll the vibrations around through your rolling head. You're now starting to wake up vibrations in the head, not just your lips, but in your head. We're looking for larger and larger areas of vibration that we can use to speak with the voice that God gives us. Okay, so sighing, letting your Head and neck drop forward. Sigh, hum onto your lips and roll your head around, wakening up those vibrations. Hum. Good. Stop with your head dropped forward. Sigh, hum, and roll around the other way. And sigh, hum, and roll around the other way. And sigh, hum, and roll around the other way. Okay, and then now let your head float up into alignment with your spine, and being aware now of those extra vibrations in your head, now let those start to come out in your voice. Ha hum ma. Good, so more and more of you starts to come out in your voice. And now sigh, hum, and drop down through your spine, wakening up vibrations throughout your whole body. Watch me, I'll do it first. Hum, and then when you reach the bottom, you pause for a new breath, sigh, hum onto your lips, and come up and release your vibrations at the top. So it'll be ma. So we're starting to let vibrations run through your whole body. Sigh, hum, and drop down. New sigh, new thought coming up, opening vibrations at the top. Ma. Good. Now sigh, hum, and dropping down once again. New thought coming up. You're going to open and bounce your knees open at the top. Ma. Good. Letting your voice come more and more out into the room. So sighing a hum, dropping down when you come up. You're going to bounce your shoulders when you reach the top. Sighing a hum and dropping down. New breath coming up. Good. And sigh a hum and drop down and up on one breath and bounce from underneath your feet when you reach the top. And then to your partner, you're going to feed in the sigh. This is a sigh of relief. So whatever it is, see if you can find within you some sense of relief, even though all of the things that we've been talking about are going on in the world. So you're going to feed in, think of something, you let your imagination conjure a feeling of relief. Sigh that feeling out and up and across to your partner. Here you go. Ha-hum-ma. You are giving each other this gift. Now I would like you to close your eyes, turn your attention inward, check into how you're feeling and perhaps what may have changed as we've gone through these exercises and this work. And see if in your heart you can come up with one thing you want to say tomorrow or whenever it is that you are preaching. One true phrase or word or sentence. And then open your eyes and let your eyes and your heart take in that partner who's across from you. So you are in touch with yourself, but also able to take in that person. And I'd like you to just, one at a time, to your partner, say that sentence, that word, that phrase. Gently open your eyes and let the world come in. You don't have to rush out to grab it. You just let it fall in. Now let your attention start to go more out into the room. Let's see if you can find that balance point between awareness of the inside and awareness of what's around. And from that place of balance, we will say our sentence. And actually close your eyes for a moment. The first words are internal. I am. Whatever it is that you are at this moment, let your words convey that truth. I am. I am. And then open your eyes, see the room. Here in this room. And see everybody in the room. With all of you. With all of you. And now we'll say as one sentence, I am here in this room with all of you. I am here in this room with all of you. And see if that feels true. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Go back to your sentence, your true sentence or your true phrase. See how it connects to you. See how it's true for you. And open your eyes and see the room. And I'd like to invite us to go around and say to each other that sentence. So you can pass if you don't have it, but if you have a sentence.